Darkness, complete, total, impenetrable, and silence. Not the silence of a quiet room, the silence of a world with no sound, no voice, no music, no laughter, nothing. She had lived in that darkness and silence since she was 19 months old. A fever had taken her sight and her hearing in a single night. She was a child with no language, no way to reach the world, no way for the world to reach her. And yet, from inside that darkness, she would reach further than almost anyone who could see. Stay with me, because this story is about what is possible when a human being refuses to be defined by what they cannot do. Subscribe to this channel because every Monday and Thursday we tell the stories that redefine what is possible. Like this video, share it with someone who needs to be reminded that their limitations do not define their ceiling. This story is for everyone who has ever been told they can't. I am Dr. TJ, a Harvard Fellowship trained surgeon and a distinguished Toastmaster, the highest honor in Toastmasters International, earned by less than 1% of members worldwide. And everything I am about to share with you comes from decades of real-world experience at the highest levels. She was born on June 27, 1880 in Tuscumbia, Alabama, a healthy, bright, curious child. At 19 months old, she contracted an illness, described by doctors at the time as acute congestion of the stomach and brain. When the fever broke, she was blind. She was deaf. For the next 5 years, she lived in a world of complete isolation. She developed her own crude system of signs, about 60 of them, to communicate basic needs. But she was trapped. Rage became her constant companion. She threw things. She hit people. She screamed into a silence only she could hear. Her parents, desperate, wrote to the Perkins Institution for the Blind in Boston. They were told of a young woman, 20 years old, partially blind herself, a fighter, a teacher, someone who understood darkness from the inside. Her name was Anne Sullivan. And what happened when she walked through the door of the household on April 5th, 1887 is one of the most extraordinary moments in human history. Anne Sullivan was 20 years old. She had been nearly blind herself, had undergone surgery that partially restored her sight. She understood what it meant to live in darkness. She arrived at the house and immediately began working with her. It was war. She was wild, untamed, furious at the world that had locked her inside herself. She hit Anne. She threw things. She knocked out one of Anne's teeth. Anne refused to retreat. Day after day, she spelled letters into her hand. DOLLCAKEMUG. She could initiate the movement, but she didn't understand. She didn't know that everything had a name, that the symbols in her hand meant something. For weeks, nothing. And then one April morning, Anne held her hand under a water pump. Cold water rushed over her fingers. Anne spelled into her other hand, WATER. Something cracked open, something vast and luminous flooded in. The word, the thing, they were the same. Everything had a name. She later described that moment as the one in which she was born. From that moment, there was no stopping her. She learned the manual alphabet, then Braille, then how to speak. She learned to read lips with her fingers, pressing them against the face of the speaker. At 20, she enrolled at Radcliffe College, part of Harvard University. She graduated cum laude in 1904, the first deaf-blind person in history to earn a Bachelor of Arts degree. And then she turned outward. She became one of the most influential social activists of the 20th century. She campaigned for workers' rights, women's suffrage, and the rights of people with disabilities. She wrote 12 books. She gave hundreds of speeches in a voice she had learned to produce without ever hearing it. She met every US president from Grover Cleveland to Lyndon B. Johnson. Mark Twain called her one of the most remarkable people in the world. Her name was Helen Keller, the girl who lived in complete darkness and silence, the woman who graduated from Harvard, who wrote 12 books, who changed the world without ever seeing it, without ever hearing it. She once said, "Although the world is full of suffering, it is also full of the overcoming of it." She knew she had overcome everything. Here are 3 quotations from Helen Keller. The first one, I'm going to repeat it. It is important to listen to this quotation. Although the world is full of suffering, it is also full of overcoming of it. End quote, Helen Keller. The second quote, the only thing worse than being blind is having sight but no vision. End quote, Helen Keller. Third and final quote, optimism is the faith that leads to achievement. Nothing can be done without hope and confidence. End quote, Helen Keller. Helen Keller could not see the world. She could not hear it. She changed it anyway. Here is your challenge today. Write down the one limitation you use as a reason or an excuse for not doing the thing you most want to do. Write it down honestly and then write this beneath it. Helen Keller graduated from Harvard without sight, without sound. What is my limitation compared to hers? And what am I going to do about it? Today, not tomorrow, today. Share this story with someone who needs to hear it today. Someone who is using their circumstances as a reason to stop. Helen Keller's story is the answer to every excuse ever made. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, and come back Thursday for the science of how champions rewire their minds for winning.
You are unstoppable.